Welcome everyone to the 2021 Age Well National Impact Challenge. We're very excited to present today 6 amazing finalists who were selected from the most applications we've ever received. My name is Michael Krasowski. I'm the Business Development and Industry Relations Manager for AgeWell, Canada's Technology and Aging Network. Earlier in the day, we heard a land acknowledgement, and I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on the land on which you're located and to consider your relationship to the land and to the people who are traditional keepers of that land. Before we get to know the judges, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for the National Impact Challenge. Our sponsors have helped us put together the best prizes we've had to date, and I'd like to thank the Ontario Brain Institute and the Centre of Aging and Brain Health Innovation for their commitment as key sponsors, as well as to Bearskin and Parr for their sponsorship and their contribution of IP prizes and services for the competition. And now, without further ado, I'd like to give each judge the opportunity to introduce themselves, and we can start with Mel.
Thanks, Michael. Mel Barsky, I'm the Director of Business Development for the Center for Aging and Brain Health Innovation, also known as CABI, and we work in partnership at Baycrest.
Thanks, Mel. And Angela, you're next on the screen.
Good morning, folks. My name is Angela Brooks. I'm joining you from the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nation this morning. I am part of the United Way Healthy Aging team with a particular passion on digital learning. I'm also wearing my Aging 2 hat this morning as the ambassador for the Vancouver chapter of Aging 2. Welcome. Look forward to being with you this morning.
Thanks, Angela. Great to have you. And Garth.
Hi, my name is Garth Smith. I'm VP of Business Development and Partnerships with the Ontario Brain Institute. And we're very pleased to be a part of this event. And we think that it's really important for partners across Canada, maybe internationally, to get together and support these types of technologies. And we look forward to seeing the pitches.
Thanks, Garth. And finally, Izzy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Izzy Calder. I'm a partner at Bearskin and Parr. Bearskin and Parr is an IP firm based here in Toronto, but we have offices in Waterloo, Mississauga, and Montreal. And the firm and I, we have passion for startups, and my passion is helping startups in the area. I have a background in computer electrical, and I'm the co-leader of the AI group at my firm, but we work with a lot of startups from different universities, and I'm especially excited about the industry area that we're working in today. I think it's a very, very meaningful area. I look forward to seeing the pitches. Thank you.
Thanks, Izzy, and thanks, everyone. So without further ado, we can get started with the first pitch, which will be from Braze Mobility.
Hi, everyone. Meet David Watson. David had been using a power wheelchair for many years, but 3 years ago, staff at his long-term care facility were about to take his power wheelchair, his only means of independent mobility, away from him. You see, David needs to drive in a tilted position and often can't see what's around him, so he was having accidents. Staff felt they needed to choose David's autonomy or the safety of everyone in the home. This is not just David's story. 20% of power wheelchair users experience at least one major collision within a year, and 11% of them are hospitalized. Accidents like this can lead to embarrassment and even exclusion from the use of power wheelchairs altogether, even when no other option for independent mobility exists. I saw this as the violation of a fundamental human right and co-founded Braze Mobility, where we've created the world's first blind spot sensors for wheelchairs. Our product restores dignity and independence back to the user, reduces caregiver burden and stress, decreases property damage, and increases safety not only for the user, but others in the environment as well. So why now? Well, because most cars we drive today have blind spot sensors, which have already been mandated in the automotive industry. So why shouldn't wheelchair users have the same right to peace of mind and safety? Our blind spot sensors can be added to any wheelchair, transforming it into a smart wheelchair. Our system provides feedback to the user regarding location and proximity to obstacles through intuitive lights, sounds, and vibrations. This is David again, just a few months ago, still driving his powered wheelchair. With our blind spot sensors, David has independent mobility and dignity. Staff can support his autonomy without compromising on safety. David's friend and advocate has peace of mind, because at Braze, we believe mobility is a fundamental human right, not a privilege. But our work is not done. More than 100,000 wheelchair-related injuries were treated in emergency departments in the US in a single year, with 65 to 80% of these injuries resulting from tips and falls, which our current system does not address. And so we're currently developing a terrain analysis system that will detect curbs, uneven surfaces, and slopes to prevent falls. While the system is still in prototype phase, we have the right team and established sales channels that will help us commercialize the system as soon as development is complete. Let me explain. My name is Pooja Vishwanathan, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Braze. I have a PhD in assistive technology and robotics and have been leading smart wheelchair research and international collaborations for over a decade. My co-founder and advisor, Dr. Mihailaides, is a world leader in technology and aging with over 150 peer-reviewed publications in the field. Terrence Ho has led customer experience strategy in aerospace and assistive tech companies, and is a family caregiver to his brother who uses a powered wheelchair. Alan Boyd is an industry veteran with over 25 years of experience, has successfully negotiated OEM agreements, and has had 2 successful exits. We have wheelchair users on our team who drive our innovation forward, pun intended. We launched our blind spot sensors commercially last February and have already generated over 150K, selling over 150 units, with our largest customer being the US Department of Veterans Affairs. More recently, we pitched our terrain analysis system to the VA and were announced as a collaboration winner, with 7 VA sites on board to help us validate our system and refine our prototype. We have some of the top independent manufacturers reps in over 30 states, and we're an approved supplier to the largest dealers in US and Canada, giving us access to over 70% market share and more than 700 reps. We're also currently finalizing an OEM agreement with a leading wheelchair manufacturer. If we win this pitch competition, we'll use the majority of the funds for R&D, and the remaining to purchase hardware for the prototypes we'll make available to the VA. We'd also love the in-kind services to file provisional patents. In summary, we're solving a significant problem affecting millions of users, wheelchair users. Our company is the first globally to provide a practical, affordable solution, and through developing partnerships, we can enhance every wheelchair in North America and the world. We have a strong team that is internationally recognized in the area of smart wheelchairs with a proven track record. We have traction among leading institutions, including the VA in the US. And most importantly, we're passionate about creating a more accessible world. Our mission is to help millions of wheelchair users all around the world navigate fully, independently, and safely. Thank you.
Thanks, Pooja. Great pitch. I guess it's now off to judges for Q&A. Garth?
Oh, me?
I see you're unmuted.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Long time no chat. So a few years ago, we had a conversation around when we were first engaging with long-term care facilities around a number of them taking wheelchairs out because they were really hindering how, the paths and the mobility. Have you seen any changes based on your technology and how you've been able to change that trend?
Absolutely. David that I showed is one example, but we have in the same facility, in fact, we have a few examples just of residents. This is actually a long-term care facility in Ontario. So this is very pertinent, of course, everyone here, but there were residents who were either borderline or were just not being considered for power mobility use. And they've actually mandated our sensors for these residents. And as long as they are using our sensors, they're allowed to keep driving, which is just phenomenal because David was actually at the point where he would have lost his mobility 3 years ago and he's still driving. Similarly, I can name so many other residents just within here in the US, we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing, again, long-term care assisted living facilities that are actually preferring to have residents keep their independent mobility with the sensors on because they just see a night and day difference between how they're driving with and without sensors.
Mel, I see you're unmuted.
Sure. Hi, Pooja. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. You talked a little bit about, use of funds might be one of them to file a provisional patent. Can you talk to what kind of competitors there are or quasi competitors there are? Are you worried about people being able to reproduce what you've done, or just how's yours really novel and different?
Yeah, I can speak about IP. That's obviously, provisional patents filing here will give us some protection, but honestly, our biggest competitive advantage, and what maybe I didn't highlight, is the partners that I mentioned, some of the dealers and the VA that we're working with. The barriers to entry are actually really high. It took us years to get in with some of these partners, with the top two dealers. Becoming an approved supplier was actually not easy at all. And so the only other competition that we would see is coming from the manufacturers themselves. But what we also see with the manufacturers is that they just don't have the R&D funds to be able to develop the stuff internally. So what they're more likely to do is actually partner with companies like us, which is exactly why we're actually working on OEM agreements with some of these manufacturers, because their model is to essentially partner with companies like us, either through OEM or through acquisition, in order to provide this sort of functionality, which is kind of outside of their core focus, which remains kind of the seating and power seating systems and so on. So they're very mechanical heavy, and the software and IoT kind of expertise that we bring is something that's very desirable for them, and they'd want to partner.
Great, thank you.
Angela or Izzy, do you answer that?
Yeah, my first question was a little bit more about the 22.5K for the R&D and how you would use that. So I wouldn't mind hearing a little bit more. You've just touched on it there, but a little bit drill down on that. And then my second, well, am I allowed a second question? If you want to do that one quickly. My second is more around coming at this from a community perspective, the diversity, equality piece, and cost, and how your business would ensure that your product, which is impressive, is available for all, and what that might look like. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with the R&D. So really, that's just based on the salary of an intern and some sort of part salary of more senior staff. But that would essentially cover a full-time intern to work on that particular system. I also actually didn't mention, because this is also fairly recent, we are also part of the Google for entrepreneurs, or Google for startups cohort. And part of the timing's perfect, because they're also going to be providing a lot of technical resources. So we'll be able to save on some R&D resources there through all of the perks that come with being part of the Google cohort. So that will all help us with the R&D side of things. And then to your second point, another one of our competitive advantages is our pricing strategy. So we spent a lot of time figuring out how to actually make our system fundable, affordable. And what we found was that a price point under $3,000 USD allowed us to be really successful in terms of getting funding. So our current products are actually being funded across the US through Medicaid, through Office of Vocational Rehab, auto insurance, and I can list off a whole bunch. But we basically found that sweet spot with the Veterans Affairs. That's actually considered a micro purchase as well. So we are planning on adopting a similar pricing strategy with our new system as well. So we have a lot of experience actually with how funding works in the US. And so we're going to offer our system modularly and keep that same pricing strategy.
Great. And Izzy, I'll try to get your question in there too.
For sure, absolutely. You mentioned there's sort of IoT software aspects. I'm just curious, what are you thinking of in terms of future potential products and services that you might be able to offer to it sort of bump up your competitiveness in the marketplace? Just curious about that.
Yeah, our long-term vision, I mean, right now, we're really in this sort of CRT mobility space, but with the sensors we have and now kind of getting into terrain analysis, we're really starting to grapple at kind of the bigger problem here of accessibility, right? In cities, like being able to get in and out of buildings and so on. And so our IoT play is really going to be around actually leveraging this data to offer insights to people like those interested in smart cities and smart mobility, and really understand where people are going. More importantly, where are people not going? We can learn so much in terms of just data and just in terms of like how accessible, what the barriers are getting in and around cities. So we're really excited to be part of that bigger conversation, because now that's not just people with mobility impairment, that's people with disabilities across the board. So that's something that we're also really interested in. In fact, that was also the reason for our lead investor, who will hopefully be closing around with soon, that actually has expertise in smart cities and connections in that area too. So that's a big area for us in the future for sure.
Terrific. Thank you.
All right. So thanks for that, Pooja. I guess that's our time for the questions.
Thank you. Good to see everyone again.
So next up, we have Hi Ivy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Bartholomew, and I am the co-founder of Hi Ivy Health. When I was diagnosed with cervical cancer at 28 years old, I found out that I was going to need surgery and radiation that was directly going to impact my pelvic health for the rest of my life. And as I started my research, I found out that I wasn't alone. 1 in 3 women are dealing with non-curable pelvic health conditions, and these conditions increase steadily during the aging process for women. These conditions directly impact a woman's day-to-day activities and quality of life, and the only option for treatment at home are these ineffective, painful static dilators, which haven't been upgraded since 1938. This is why we've created Hi Ivy Health. We create an all-in-one pelvic rehab system for women to help treat, monitor, and predict pelvic health-related illnesses and their symptoms. Our first products include a multi-therapy vaginal wand, providing hot and cold, lubrication, and dilation therapy, which are used in combination with biosensors, collecting the first quantifiable data set on the pelvic floor, which is tracked using a patient mobile app and a software portal for clinicians. Our patients see a therapeutic impact that decreases vaginal dryness, pelvic pain, and vaginal stenosis while improving symptoms of incontinence. For OBGYNs, we've reduced time to clinical outcomes and reduced readmission and ER visits. For the pelvic floor therapists, we improve access to their care through virtual monitoring and provide new revenue opportunities through device, resale, and virtual therapy sessions. We sell into the two multi-billion-dollar markets targeting 50 million women in North America who could benefit from our product. We're the only remote monitoring device on the market, collecting multiple data sets and connecting patients virtually to their doctors, following strict regulatory, quality, and clinical evidence. We sell the device through clinics and directly to the patient at a one-time charge of $450, and we have reoccurring revenue streams with our consumable lubrication pod refills and our monthly subscription to our clinician SaaS portal. And we will achieve scale by first targeting the 5,400 pelvic floor therapists in North America, with a secondary clinical target of the 47,000 OBGYNs once our devices went through further clinical research. To reach this market, we'll be selling our Class 2 Health Canada and FDA-approved device, Canadian design and manufactured device through our community of Hi Ivy accredited therapist clinics that we have developed through partnerships with therapist educational systems and their associations. These products will then be used to guide our R&D into further clinical and rectal devices and explore the use of our data to make patient diagnoses. Our goal is to have an end-to-end integrated pelvic health solution that empowers doctors with data and allows patients to continue therapy outside of the therapist's office. We have a growing waiting list of over 400 women in active focus groups. Our oldest patient's actually 80 years old, and 50 LOIs with pelvic health clinics. We have raised over $740,000 in non-dilutive funding. We have filed provisional patents, and we just recently closed an oversubscribed $1.2 million pre-seed round, where we were listed, and we have also been listed as a global trendsetter in pelvic health out of 1,500 global femtech companies. And our immediate plan is to finish our benchtop and ISO testing to get our devices ready for our clinical trial on endometriosis patients with McMaster University, while also prepping for FDA pre-sub meeting. Our goal for the early 2022 is to achieve our Class 2 regulatory approvals, complete our first trial, and launch our next couple trials with cancer and menopause patients. To make this all happen, we've assembled a team of experienced, diverse, and majority female entrepreneurs, engineers, and scientists. We're also led by 15 amazing medical advisors alongside 2 co-PI research leads from McMaster, who are leading our trials and device research. If we win the Age Well National Impact Challenge, not only would the exposure help us spread the word of the importance of pelvic health across Canada to our aging female population, as well as provide us access to key stakeholders we need to connect to increase market access across Canada, but we will also be using this opportunity and the funds to launch our 2022 clinical research trial in Canada for the use of the high IV device on the impact on menopausal and aging women. That being said, please join us and help reduce the stigma around pelvic health and help us make women happier and healthier down there and everywhere. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rachel. That was great.
Thanks.
Yeah, we can go straight to judges' questions. Izzy, it looks like you're ready to start.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much
Hi.
for the pitch. That was
course.
really, that was empowering just to watch it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just curious about the technology that you have behind the product, and I'm just wondering, you know, it sounds like you're taking steps to protect your IP, which is fantastic. What is your strategy around sort of trade secret protection versus patents? Have you thought about sort of the trade secret side of things? You know, what is your strategy alongside that? I'm not sure how much proprietary algorithms are involved, but I'd just be curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the technology pieces, especially because we're a hardware company, is patentable. So that's what we're planning is we actually have a long 5-year patent strategy. There are trade secrets. A lot of that trade secret comes from the data that we're collecting. We're noticing a number of patterns in the data already that are referencing things that we know we can lead into clinical trials and then eventually IP down the road. So right now we've got some trade secrets, hopefully converting them to patents as we do more research.
That's terrific. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for that.
Hey, Rachel, it's Mel here.
Hi.
Hi. What's the key to success of this rolling out? Is it strictly the improvement in outcomes for patients, and that should be all it needs to be? But is it incumbent upon OBGYNs or pelvic floor therapists to be part of this? Do they have to read and measure and tweak how you use the device to help improve results?
Great question. So most of the products that are out there state a 12-week, you know, you'll be fine, you'll be good to go. Unfortunately, with a lot of these patients, and as we know, when we get massages or physiotherapy, this is a maintenance thing. It's a roller coaster. It goes up and down. And part of the problem is the education about that. We think that it's just going to be quick results and that's going to be it. And a lot of products have followed that strategy alongside a non-medical strategy. So just making a consumer device. What we've done is we're going through the medical strategy to get regulatory approval and clinical evidence so that we can make it a long-term process with OBGYNs and pelvic floor therapists. It's been proven in France that if we can do this upfront before having babies, before menopause, we can actually prevent a lot of these diseases from happening. So trying to educate and think about how does this become maintenance? How does this become part of our regular health and overall? So we have some work to do, but we'll get there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Angela or Garth?
Angela, you go ahead.
Sure, I can jump in. Wow, Rachel, thank you. Great pitch.
Thank you.
Lots of good information that I had, no idea about, but as a middle-aged woman, to completely understand and get what you're talking about. So, yeah, I've got lots of questions, but I want, could you please comment a little bit about the user experience with the technology and that journey of that, please?
Of course, of course. So what happens is the clinician is the first touch point. Everything has to be prescribed by the clinician and the protocol and the way that the device is used. We did that because, like I said, we need oversight, regular maintenance oversight on these types of therapies. That protocol is sent to the device. The device can be used with or without a mobile phone. It's just a little bit more complex when you don't have the mobile phone, as it does its back-end work to send the data to the doctor. But essentially, they go home. So for instance, myself, cervical cancer patient with surgery and radiation, I'm 3 times a week for 30 minutes and up to 5 years worth of therapy just to get to status quo. This will range per patient. They use it from home, they follow their schedule, that data is uploaded to their mobile phone. If they don't have a mobile phone, uploads directly to the therapist or the OBGYN who can interact with it and change that protocol as we go.
Thank you. Thanks.
Garth.
So the opportunity that you talked about around the data really intrigues me, because you guys are really poised. If you have a really good relationship with the people that you're helping, you're sort of the metabolic, metabolomic microbiome type space where you may see signals well ahead of certain diseases that might not be pelvic in nature. And so that's where a big decision is going to be for you is, based on your own personal experience, what kind of company are you? You say you're a hardware company, but you may turn into a data company pretty soon.
We are 100%.
So where, like, I mean, I know you're in the age well pitch competition, but clearly you have a first market, which is near and dear to your heart, but without sharing any trade secrets or anything like that, do you see an expansion in the target indications? It's in terms of preventative, which would be huge.
100%. So I initially thought we were a hardware company. We became a data company very quickly. That data got the attention of many people. I think what we have to do is first do our clinical trials across menopause, cancer, all these major conditions, start gaining the data and access to that data from those trials, as well as go to market, monitor that data, identify the patterns and the assumptions that we've made on the back end. We're already seeing some things that are saying we can see inflammation, we can see problems, we can see things before they even begin. How do we then take that data, frame out what that looks like from a diagnostic and preventative? I think the other thing that makes me excited is we can look at things like comparing patients across age groups, across diagnosis, and across ethnic backgrounds. And how can we then make correlations to say, let's be proactive with her management before she starts getting into serious pain down the road.
Absolutely. So clearly you have somebody on your team that's going to help you with things like consent and data, personal patient data, because that's once you cross the line, it's hard to go back, right? So that
100%. It's we're consent first, multiple layers of it, consenting to share with us, let alone with the doctor, built on MedStack, built with HIPAA, PIPEDA, everything in mind, knowing we don't want to be the Facebook of the healthcare world.
How much have you raised so far? Sorry, how much have you raised so far?
So we've done 740 in grants, and we've done 1.2 in a pre-seed. We just closed.
You're very efficient. Well done. Nice.
Thank you. We've only been around for about a year and a half, so we're
Cool.
moving along.
Nice. Well done.
Okay. Well, this is great. And thanks for that, Rachel, because we're out of time.
Thanks so much. Thanks for all the great questions. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
And now we'll hear a pitch from Stronger You.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Johnson. I'm the founder of Stronger You Senior Fitness. Prior to launching Stronger You, I worked in community chronic disease management and for 3 of Canada's largest senior living operators. In my most recent role as regional manager of recreation, I supported 49 directors of recreation spread across 5 provinces. The other half of the team is Abby Evans, our director of digital storytelling. Throughout my career, it became more and more obvious that there was a widespread need for education, tools, and resources to improve the quality of senior fitness classes taking place across the senior living sector and in the community. Quality fitness classes are one of the easiest, cheapest, and most effective ways to help older adults to stay or become more physically strong, intellectually sharp, and socially connected. Yet recreation professionals are given no to limited training to facilitate these classes. Here's a quote I received just last week from an individual who said that she felt inadequately trained to lead the classes that were required of her. These individuals often teach classes based on crumpled up pieces of paper, from questionable videos found on YouTube, or even worse, VHS. Even if they have attended a senior fitness instructor training, they still end up going to Google or YouTube because prior to Stronger You, the current course offering didn't link the knowledge to the practical implementation. And this resulted in a steep and lengthy learning curve to becoming a highly skilled instructor. To solve this problem, I founded Stronger You Senior Fitness to empower recreation, fitness, and activity professionals and senior serving organizations to deliver high quality, safe, and dynamic senior fitness experiences directly following their training. And yes, here are some of our nearly 300 Stronger You instructors from around the world who are giving our course rave reviews. I created Stronger You to address all of the major pain points in the current senior fitness education system. We offer accessible, self-paced education through our online instructor course, and we're the only senior fitness education company globally to offer 30 minutes of brand new class content in a rotation of 4 formats: cardio, strength, stretch, and balance. Our dynamic program doesn't just focus on creating stronger bodies, but we take a holistic 6 dimensions of wellness approach that includes a big focus on maintaining and improving brain health. We help organizations to easily train their staff to become in-house fitness experts, regardless of their background. And this is why we're the senior fitness instructor certification of choice for organizations like Amica, Seasons, Merrill Gardens, Generations, as well as organizations across 8 Canadian provinces, 15 US states, Australia, and New Zealand. The Stronger You instructor course is just $250 and includes annual turnover protection to protect an organization's investment in their staff. Our class content subscription is $20 per month per instructor and $50 per month for departments of 3 or more. But most organizations actually find this to be a savings, as outside instructors can cost $20 to $50 per class versus just $20 to $50 per month to have your team Stronger You certified. There are over 115,000 retirement communities and long-term care homes in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and in the UK. This market represents a potential revenue for Stronger You of over $107 million. But more importantly, the ability to help over 15 million older adults gain access to high-quality fitness programming. There are also additional market opportunities for Stronger You within post-secondary, community and fitness centers, home care organizations, and more. In Canada, about 1.5 million seniors fall each year, costing our healthcare system $2 billion. Through just the senior living markets in Canada, we have the opportunity to cut that number in half and save about $1 billion for our economy. Instead of focusing on monitoring or tracking falls, helping seniors to recover or get around after they've had a fall or been diagnosed with a chronic disease, let's focus on preventing them in the first place. It's cheaper and results in a greater quality of life for the older adults. There are over 500,000 Canadians living with dementia today, and that number is expected to nearly double by the year 2030. Research is showing that cardiovascular exercise and cognitively stimulating activities are 2 of the most powerful ways to maintain brain health, and we check the box on both of those strategies. I dream of a world where getting older isn't something to be feared. Old age doesn't have to be synonymous with falls, dementia, and chronic disease. I want to live in a world where the golden years are truly that. More time to spend doing the things we love with the people we love, rather than managing a chronic disease. I also envision a world where exercise isn't a chore, but an experience to look forward to. Stronger You needs your support. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Emily. We can go straight to judges' questions.
Right.
Thanks, Emily. That was a very enthusiastic presentation. Just a question, is the intent that when you're offering these classes in a congregate setting, that it doesn't require an instructor to be in the room? It's like you just need someone to kind of turn on the TV or laptop or computer and a class will follow it?
No, so we do train the staff within senior living and other organizations. So we train their staff to become the in-house experts. And then what they do is they take our high quality content and we teach them how to tailor it to their specific group. So we have our classes taking in long-term care homes all the way up to independent living and out in the community and community centers as well.
So the ROI is not replacing an instructor, it's a train somebody in-house.
You got it. So they can teach really high quality classes, and we can kind of avoid that scenario of that person who sent me the email where they have to teach fitness classes, but the fitness classes are terrible because they have no training. They feel not adequately prepared to teach the classes because they don't have the training tools and resources.
Got it. Thank you.
Is it?
Hi there, great presentation. I love the enthusiasm and the vision for the future. My question would be, what are you thinking about in terms of future services that you might offer? Are you thinking of incorporating technology, or maybe the products of another company, or some other sort of sensor-based assistive devices for the programs? Is that something that you're planning for the future?
Yeah, so step one was to train the instructors to be the in-house experts. One thing that we have currently in the works is actually a video game that would be a supplement where people can actually use it evenings and weekends. They would do the Stronger You choreography, and it actually uses the Xbox system that tracks your movements to be able to help people reach the Stronger You choreography without an instructor. And then further to that as well, probably Stronger You for seniors, where they could access it right in their home. But we did want to start with a quality trained person being able to tailor it to the senior. And then the next step will be the technology tailoring it to the senior.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela and Garth.
I can jump in. Good morning, Emily. I feel your effervescence and energy in your pitch, so thank you. I was on numerous calls this week, and what came up was workforce shortage issues and challenges that we are all facing within this industry. Can you comment a little bit about how your product and service may address that or help or hinder with this predicament we find ourselves in?
Yeah, absolutely. So that email that I got last week, she's actually leaving that company. And that company is actually, I would say, doing better than most because they do have some sort of training process in place, but it still leaves her feeling inadequately trained. So she's actually leaving that company because she doesn't like the way things are going. The new company she's going to is going to Stronger You certify her. So she feels empowered by her employer to teach the classes that are required of her. And then for, the turnover, I had a team of 49 and my whole job was recruiting. So that's why I built in that turnover protection, because I've lived the struggles of, I don't know if this person's going to be with us a month or 6 months or a year. So for the organization side, they can know, okay, I don't have to worry about forking out $250 every time someone's brand new. So the hope would be that people stay in their roles because they feel more empowered. And then when we have the evolution of the video game, that that would help to kind of take that off of their plate. And if you don't have a recreation director for a period of time, you've got this game that will basically serve as one.
Thank you.
Awesome presentation, Emily. That's probably one of the best ones I've seen in a while. So, so a couple questions. You made comments that your program kind of cuts falls in half. Is that based on data that you guys saw across your current customers?
This is just research data that's come from studies in terms of doing a 3 times a week minimum exercise program. So pulling from all of that research. I am a research nerd. We're actually starting a research project in January that we've received some great funding for. But just due to COVID, we haven't been able to get that data from our customers. They just want to implement the program. They're not interested in doing any extra work, although we would love for them to send us their data. That'll be yet to come.
So following on from Angela's question, you're really a B2B kind of company, right? So given these current times, is there a movement to do B2C, like caregivers and seniors at home in place, what's your strategy in that respect?
Yeah, great question. I come from the senior living industry, really well known, really well connected. We don't do any advertising except for conferences, trade shows, that kind of thing, because I just know everyone in the industry. So I've been leveraging that first. I haven't got to the end of that very long list yet. So that's been my main focus, but I'm dying to partner with a home care company because I think that's truly the future of where this program could be needed. Those individuals are going in the home, and so they could be running some fitness classes while they're there, as well as eventually the Stronger You for Seniors program where they can access it in their home. But yeah, first and foremost, this has just been our first point in.
Sorry, Michael, just one last quick question. Based on this relationship, that's your barrier to competition, isn't it? Is this relationship you have with the industry?
Yeah, everyone I talked to is like, Emily, you get it. I'm like, yeah, because I didn't want to be an entrepreneur and own a company. That was like never, ever a dream of mine. I just wanted to be in senior living forever. But to be honest, none of the companies I worked for either saw the vision or my job was just too big to have the time. And although I was happy to build this evenings and weekends, I didn't want to do all my other work in the evenings and weekends. So ultimately, I had to decide to go off on my own and create Stronger You. But yes, that's our competitive advantage. I come from the industry. I know exactly what the struggles are. And that's why we get that 9 out of 10 from our instructors and the most commonly awarded score of 10 out of 10, because everyone's like, Emily, you get it. Like you totally you get our people, you get our staff, you get our organizational issues.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks for that, Emily. That was awesome. So with that, we can move on to the next page. So take
All
care.
right.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks, Emily.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Imaginable Solutions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Liana Genovese, CEO and founder of Imaginable Solutions and inventor of our product, Guided Hands. We create assistive technology to improve the quality of life for people living with limited hand mobility. Meet Peter, a real creative guy. He has a passion for woodworking and painting. He loves to make things with his hands. Last year, Peter was diagnosed with cancer. While undergoing treatment, he got COVID and then pneumonia. As a result, Peter lost sensation and mobility in his hands. It became nearly impossible for Peter to hold and use a paintbrush. He lost his passion for art and the independence and confidence that his hobbies gave him. Our solution is Guided Hands, an assistive device that enables people living with limited hand mobility to paint, write, draw, and use a touchscreen device. Our unique sliding mechanism uses a system of linear ball bearings and shafts that guide the hand in all directions as the user holds a handpiece tailored to their level of hand impairment. This is the basis of our Canadian and US patent. Our competitive advantage is functionality. 3 competitors have only one feature. They can hold a writing utensil, but they don't control and guide the hand movements. At a higher price point is a wearable glove that controls tremors. Unlike glove, Guided Hands focuses on holding the utensil for people experiencing the curling of their fingers. At $525, the unique feature of Guided Hands is that it can accommodate the varying levels of hand impairment, which users say help reduce their hand fatigue and pain. And it holds any type of utensil. Touched by Peter's story, my design lead and I flew across Canada to Alberta to meet him. Guided Hands enable Peter to reignite his passion for painting and decorating past woodworking projects, which, as you can see, he was very proud to show me. His independence and confidence had returned. Peter's caregiver is his daughter. She can engage with her dad through Guided Hands rather than rehabilitative hand-over-hand exercises. Peter's not alone. He is one of 58 million people in North America of all ages living with a medical condition or injury that impairs their hand mobility. Our initial market are the 250,000 older adults in Canada living with limited hand mobility. Currently, we manufacture Guided Hands in-house for $124 and sell it for $525. Once we sell 350 units, we will invest in manufacturing by scaling in Canada. This will improve our margin significantly from 76 to 83%. We are always working towards reducing cost, since that has been a barrier for many to access age tech. We create awareness for Guided Hands through medical associations, hospitals, and rehabilitation clinics, as well as nursing and retirement homes in Canada and in the US. We sell Guided Hands B2B to these facilities where we offer volume pricing. We also sell directly to families on our website. They're referred by their association, their occupational therapist, or social worker. And down the line, we will use established distributors to supply these channels. During our early research and development, we tested Guided Hands alongside over 250 professionals and patients. Today, leading organizations across North America are using Guided Hands in both paid and unpaid pilot projects. Earlier this month, we manufactured the first 50 Guided Hands. 60% were pre-ordered and 20% have been purchased. And just last week, a rehab center in Singapore requested us to sell them Guided Hands. We will expand our market reach by introducing Guided Hands 2.0, which will integrate stabilization technology to reduce hand tremors in adults living with Parkinson's disease. We have a strong team of researchers, advisors, engineers, and collaborators. I'm the sole founder of Imaginable Solutions and have a background in biomedical and mechanical engineering. As well, we are part of the 4 top local startup incubators and are a proud AgeWell startup affiliate. Together, our team has transformed Guided Hands into an international award-winning product. Last month, Guided Hands was announced the Canadian winner of the James Dyson Award. And through competitions, we have been able to self-finance and create awareness for Guided Hands. Our innovation addresses 6 of AgeWell's challenge areas, and with the funding opportunity from the National Impact Challenge, Imaginable Solutions would invest the money in manufacturing, research for Guided Hands 2.0, and creating awareness online. At Imaginable Solutions, we enable people to live the life they imagine. Thank you.
Thanks, Liana. And we're going to jump right into judges' questions.
Hi, Liana. Great presentation. Nice to see that you're working at Baycrest, where I work out of also. Does the product, it helps people to hold a device, etc. Does it help them to improve their quality of handwriting? Like if you've got a dystonia, I saw you were sponsored by a dystonia organization, allow you to write more clearly?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've done with our research pilots is we get the patient to write their name or perform certain activities without guided hands, and then do the same activities with guided hands so that we can see a noticeable difference. And that helps us determine if the device is effective or not. And that's what we did in our early research and development to test guided hands and make sure that all of the mechanical components are working so that we can essentially help people write better. And it works really well with people who have very small tremors, not larger tremors. That's why we're going to make Guided Hands 2.0, but it does increase the legibility as well.
And is it mostly sort of an affiliate question, like work on a flat surface on paper, or can it be used in other things, whether it's painting sort of on a vertical surface or other media?
Right. So we did choose to make guided hands on a flat surface because a lot of older adults and other individuals with these medical conditions do not have a lot of strength in their arms to hold a paintbrush or perform activities, I guess, vertically. So that's why we dropped the device flat. However, you can incline the device to give it more of a natural movement. But that's always an iteration or version that we look to the future. But just to focus on the patient's needs, having the device flat is better for them.
Thank you.
Is it another Izzy or Garth?
Izzy, go ahead, Izzy.
Okay, sure. Wonderful presentation. It's a beautiful product with a beautiful goal. I'm wondering, in terms of getting the word out and sort of connecting with other stakeholders and sort of developing synergies. Have you thought about approaching and it may have been in the pitch, but I may have missed it. Are you engaging with arts and culture organizations? To sort of form partnerships with them? I would think that might be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't reached out to any so far, but I really think that's a wonderful channel. Right now, our focus has just been healthcare facilities to get people to champion the product, to add that credibility to our company, as well as medical associations like Easter Seal, or not really medical associations, but Easter Seals, charitable organizations, as well as Dystonia Federation. But I think those organizations would be a wonderful channel to reach out to.
And I just bring that up because my mother is actually a Canadian author, and she's being supported by the Writers Foundation, Writers Fund, and I know that they do wonderful work in the community to support artists. And I would imagine that there could be some really great spokespeople that might come out of that set of connections. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll definitely look into it.
Okay, thanks.
Great presentation. Clearly, you won lots of awards, and clearly based on your presentation skills for sure. So the product is really interesting. This is I have a couple questions, Michael, so buckle in. So at-home product specifically for use in it's not really a portable device. It's either in a home or work or at the facility where they're going to. Is that correct?
So guided hands can be portable.
Right.
We offer a canvas bag that you can carry guided hands in. We recently sold a device to a woman with dementia at St. Joseph's Villa in Dundas. And so she'll have it in her room, but then when her caregiver or her daughter comes, they'll bring it downstairs and they'll use it on a table. So it can be portable. It just has to be on a flat table surface. And it can be used at home for other people or individual older adults living independently as well.
For sure. And can it be adapted to, for, keyboards or, the ability? Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah, so we just put the keyboard on top of the surface. So keyboards and touchscreen devices. We're trying to move towards the technology, but a lot of older adults do like to stick with their pen and paper. And
they do. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Angela.
Sure. Great presentation, Leanna. Thank you. My question's more similar to Izzy's, along the line of marketing your business and your strategy for that and getting the word out about it. Can you speak a little bit about that? And I'm particularly interested in a barrier or challenge around that.
Yeah, so the main barrier is that guided hands can help people of all ages and conditions, just whoever has limited hand mobility. So that can even be children and younger adults. So we initially launched the device, and we really wanted to focus on older adults since the majority of the people who pre-ordered were caregivers. So marketing is very difficult when you're marketing to 3 different age groups. So we decided to choose one, which is older adults, and market to that age group. So a bit of a challenge is making that decision, but through the feedback that we've gotten from our pre-orders and population who's been reaching out to us, it really validated that was a great decision for us. And just through pre-orders and just the initial marketing that we've been able to receive from competition wins, it's been really great to see that caregivers are the ones who are reaching out to us, which helps us kind of direct our marketing towards where those caregivers are online.
Okay, great. So thanks so much, Liana. It's a great pitch and great answers. So we can now move on to a next pitch. And
thank you so much for your time. Take care, everyone.
Now we have Prova Innovations.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Rosado, and this is Prova Innovations. Prova is a medtech startup focused on developing gait rehabilitative products for adult and children with limited walking mobility. Our story actually begins 8 years ago with the birth of my son, Samuel. Samuel was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, a neurological disorder that affects his ability to walk. The standard of care for this and other mobility disorders is in clinic twice a week if you're lucky, and then practice at home. And this was the pain point for me as a caregiver. It was hard to reinforce therapy with him at home. And so in 2019, I decided to launch Prova Innovations. This is the problem. We learn movement through repetition and practice. And the issue is that patients just don't do exercises well on their own. And this causes poor outcomes, such as prolonged recovery, functional limitations. And it's frustrating when I talk to clinicians because they can't see the full picture. Patients often behave differently in clinic. They often try and overperform. And ultimately, this has a negative impact on our healthcare system. So here's our solution. We're branding it as Within Stride. It's the world's first guided therapy solution that promotes gait rehabilitation 24/7 at home and on the go. It's a smart insole that goes inside of the shoe. It acts as a virtual trainer, providing not only gait analysis, but biofeedback through small vibrations to help guide the foot as the patient is relearning to walk. Our products are feature rich. They do this in real time. They're adaptive. They are situationally aware. So whether you're walking, running, climbing stairs, they're able to adapt the cueing accordingly. And for the first time, clinicians can actually see a true picture of how the patient is behaving through our feature rich data sets. And most excitingly, we're incentivizing patients by getting them up off the couch by tracking their goals. So we started Prova in the pediatric space, but quickly we came to realize that in order to scale the company that we wanted, we had to look to other segments. And we feel that our products are fit for over 68 million patients globally. In particular, we're interested in the osteoarthritis segment, where gait rehabilitation is so important pre-surgery, and then equally as important or even more post-surgery. Nearly half of all adults will develop osteoarthritis in their lifetime after the age of 40, and many will need to go on and have a full joint replacement. It's almost 4 million Canadians. So in terms of our impact, We feel that Prova is a strong fit for the healthcare and health service delivery stream through our remote patient offering, telemedicine, and telehealth. However, we actually feel that we can fit 5 of the 8 other challenge areas through our independent living, through our fall prediction algorithms, virtual training, encourage daily exercise. And what's really interesting is gait is a fantastic biomarker for disease progression in early onset dementia and Parkinson's disease. And our data sets would allow us to predict this. So in terms of the competition, Prova is in the sweet spot. You have traditional therapy in clinic, big machines, and then you have all these diagnostic insole companies that are all in the startup space. However, Prova is the only one truly focused on gait rehabilitation. We're the only ones that can do this in real time and provide the biofeedback and offer a situational awareness for active daily living. We have a fantastic team of engineers and scientists. Myself, I'm a professional engineer. This is my second startup. Prior to this, I designed spaceflight hardware in the aerospace industry. We equally have a strong scientific and business advisory boards comprised of physicians, surgeons, directors, therapists, and serial entrepreneurs. So we want to target Prova to be an $18 million company 5 years from launch. In order to achieve this, we've conservatively set a capture rate of 12,000 patients. We think this is an achievable target because we're marketing directly to clinicians, and assuming a small practice size of 200 patients, we can make this target happen. And there's lots of opportunity to achieve this target. So to date, we've developed a working prototype. We've filed national and international patents, and we've won a number of awards, including the coveted OBI Entrepreneurs Award. This year, we're really focused on completing our MVP. We've started our seed round of financing and hope to ink that deal in Q1. And next year is really focused on our clinical trials. Following that, we hope to have our regulatory approval in early 2023 and then focus on launch following. The use of our funds, any prize awards would go towards our pre-production units used in our pilot study. We're already a member of AgeWell's affiliate program, and we'd hope to partner with some of the government-run care centers in the GTA. This is Prova Innovations. We are providing the next step. We hope to change the standard of care for at-home gait rehabilitation. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Matthew. It's great. We'll just go right into judges' questions now.
Yes, I'll lead off. Thank you, Matthew. Great presentation. I also have a son named Sammy, so I like the name. When you're talking about the sales that you hope to achieve, what's the per unit sale, and is this expected to be picked up by insurance, et cetera?
Yeah, so
Not sure if I missed it.
So I'll talk about that. So the 12,000 patient captures our business model. The retail price is between $900 and $1,400 Canadian. This is competitively priced. Where we differ is our gross margins are quite high. Our business model is purely on device sales. We also have other sources of revenue. But in terms of reimbursement, we've looked at a number of avenues, particularly in Canada. Private insurers will cover up to $500. There are also codes that are available through funding mechanisms provincially, such as ADP. We've developed strategies to actually go forward and develop new codes into the future as well.
And will it involve custom fitting like an orthotic, or is it just sort of a half insert and the sensors are what's more important?
Yeah, it's a small insert that goes inside of the shoe. So it actually, in some variants, it can be incorporated into an orthotic, which will allow the coverage under ADP.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Matthew. Nice to see you. I just have a quick question about, you mentioned that, data and can be another source of revenue potentially. So just wondering if you can speak a little bit to your thoughts for sort of future monetization of some of the data that's being collected and how you're approaching that.
Yeah, so this is never seen before data, right? In the home. The only way to really do this is with a large vision system, stickers all over the body. So with sensors, so the compliance is really low when we're trying to do this inside of the home. So this data is going to be invaluable for researchers. There's a number of already proven use cases. I know I talked a little bit about disease progression and early onset dementia and Parkinson's disease. fantastic for that. Other segments to explore in the future, concussion. Gait is a fantastic biomarker as well for sort of return to play and concussion recovery. So we hope to collect this data. And what I ultimately want to be able to do is say, for this particular disease and this anomaly of gait, I can make a suggestion for correction by applying this much cueing, and in 1,000 steps correct it. And that will alleviate the secondary complications that will have this much savings in the healthcare system and pain for the patient.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Great. Yeah, thank Angela and Garth.
I can jump in. Thanks, Matthew, for the presentation. My question comes to you a little bit about users and some feedback, how you've used users in the development of your product, and changes you've made given feedback from users. Thanks.
Sure. Well, I understand the user need as a caregiver, right? Because I've been through the process, and I can speak to that directly. We've also talked to a number of stakeholders to see how the product can evolve. Part of the clinical trial that we're planning going forward would bake in user feedback. We have a design for manufacturing kind of following the initial pilot so that we can make improvements as we go along. But just as a caregiver, what was frustrating for me the most is in clinic, I could see the therapist correct Samuel's gait using proprioception, so small touches or her voice to guide his foot. But as soon as we would leave, he's moving in the best way he can, compensating over the injury that he has at the time, and he's forgetting that. And what's happening neurologically is he's reinforcing that abnormal gait, and that pain point might heal, but that gait remains, and that causes other complications later in life. So that's the type of user feedback that I'm trying to bake into the device itself. I'm trying to make it as minimalistic as possible, because we can put lots of things on the body, but that causes issues in terms of compliance.
Okay.
Hey, Matthew. How's it going?
Okay.
So, your timelines are quite aggressive, and from when we first met to now, you've done a remarkable job, developing this product. In terms of data that you've collected, that your own company have collected and made that analysis on how you can impact people's lives, like where are you with that? You've done a lot of R&D, you've done a lot of our algorithm development. Just give us a sense of where you are in terms of your algorithm development and where you are in terms of product.
So we've done a lot on the hardware side. Obviously, to develop all the components, we've developed a working prototype that can correct for in-towing and step count. The issue with the prototype, and I'll just share my screen again, just quickly here, is that it's in a tethered form right now. So, it's not ideal, right? Actually, so my son is demonstrating it here, and he all the time, he asked me when we can get rid of this wire, right? So that's what we're working on right now, is moving towards a complete insole. Okay. In terms of the software side, we received a grant from Google just earlier in the year, a $100K grant to develop the Google Cloud on the Google Cloud platform, and we've been underway developing those systems. So there as well, we've developed an app as well. There's some challenges in terms of getting this to work within. The goal is to get it to work within a home, right? In a care setting. So you have lots of users. And I think we've been able to address those challenges. So we're moving along. We're about 65% complete. We're targeting, I still think this is realistic to achieve this by the end of the year, of having an MVP product that could take us into clinical trials.
All right. And I guess I have to cut off the time there, but it's great. Sorry, Garth. So thanks for that, Matthew. It's great hearing from you. And look forward to reconnecting later on.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for the opportunity to pitch Prova.
And for our last pitch, we have Neighborly.
Welcome to Neighborly. I'm Karen Yip, and I'm the founder. We're a digital platform to instantly locate companionship and home help for seniors so that they can age in place comfortably, affordably, and build a support network. Let me introduce you to Barbara. She's 86, a retired nurse, widowed, loves crosswords and Coronation Street, and wants to live in her own home forever. But this might not be possible because she's got arthritis. She can't keep up with the cleaning and gardening. She's got difficulty with computers, and she doesn't want to be a burden. Let me introduce you to my Barbara. This is my mom. I started this because I work full-time, I've got kids, and I couldn't handle it all, including her growing needs. There are so many Barbaras out there who don't even have a me. So this is our solution. Our platform uses technology to connect with seniors in ways that they are familiar with. They can phone, they can email, text, chat, online bookings, and it's multi-directional. We have two main competitors, the private nursing on the one hand, that's unaffordable, and then the nonprofit government care that doesn't have capacity. We are affordable, we mobilize a larger workforce, you get to select who you want, pay for what you need, when you need it, starting at $25.99 a visit. For example, I can send Savannah to your mom's. She can put away the groceries, wash the fruit, empty the dishwasher, make the bed, take out the garbage. Ed, he is an angel. He can take mom and dad out for a walk along the seawall, pick up the prescriptions, return the ugly pillows that you bought, and get them home safely in about an hour and a half. Now, Zach, he's a paramedic medical student. He can get your parents settled in their new home and do all the heavy lifting. We launched at the end of June, and the response has been overwhelming. We are building empathetic, supportive networks. Our strategy is an intergenerational ecosystem strategy. We focus on our partnerships, collaborations, and the trust that we've built for our steady flow of customers and helpers. We're now expanding to private sectors. In terms of the market size, according to IBIS, 6.6 million is the number of seniors in Canada living in their original homes or living in independent living, many not living well. 16.3 billion is the serviceable available market based on the number of seniors living independently multiplied by our monthly returning revenue. And so far, we've got 300 users on the platform, and that includes the non-paid users, the paid users, as well as the helpers. We've had 79 successful transactions to date as of yesterday, monthly returning revenue of $200 per client, which is actually growing steadily because the seniors just have, their needs just continue to grow. We've got 100% retention rate, and we've got partnerships with at least 12 organizations. In fact, we are now a CVAP registered provider. A little bit about our team. Me, I'm a corporate lawyer, and I'll apologize for that right now. I'm a university professor with 26 years of experience. We have with us the former COO of the UBC Faculty of Medicine with over 32 years of experience, an Amazon web developer who heads up a web dev team, and a hand-selected team of students and grads from our CapU universe. We've also got an advisory team, mostly university faculty, IRAP mentors, but we're always looking for more mentorship. If we are lucky enough to get any funding, we will be using this towards increasing traction and piloting projects with our potential partners. And most importantly, every dollar will contribute towards a service for an older adult who desperately needs it. So basically, we are looking for help to continue changing lives and building what an empowered retirement should look like for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. It's great. I'll go straight into judges' questions. Who would like to start? Mel?
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Great presentation. Definitely solves a need like you addressed at the beginning when you've got kids and maybe older parents, part of a sandwich generation, or there's more and more people with four generations in the family, so calling it the double-decker sandwich generation. As you scale up and you need more and more neighbors to be neighborly to come into people's homes, how are you going to be dealing with things like security, insurance, et cetera, to vet out the people that are going to be going into people's homes?
We actually have first of all, we have a training program that was prepared by the Healthcare Assistant Program at Capilano University. So there's all kinds of training in cognitive impairments, emergency risk management, safety procedures. So we've already got all of that in place. We have also police vulnerable checks that go into place. We've got interviews, and we have we do reference checks. And so there's a whole training system and vetting system that's already in place.
Great. So they have to go through that whole vetting system, including a VSS check. And do you pay them during that process?
No, we do not. They actually have to pay for their own police vulnerable sector check.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is he thinking? Oh, maybe Angela. Sorry.
Sure, I can jump in. Thanks, Karen, for the presentation. My question is more around who is asking for the service? Is it the older adult, the senior themselves? Is it the caregiver? Is it the sons and daughters? Is it everybody? Can you speak to me a little bit about who orders up the service and what that looks like, please?
We originally built out the web platform because we thought it would be the family members who reach out. And really, the people who are reaching out are the seniors. Seniors generally don't reach out unless they desperately need the service. So they haven't been using, they don't want to use an app. They don't want to use a web platform. They just want to get a hold of somebody who can help them out with their specific needs. And that's why we had to build out the platform to connect with them in the ways that they are familiar with. They might email us. They might even send us a quick chat. Most of the time it's by phone. Even if it is the family members, I'd say maybe 20% of the time it's the family members, they still want to talk to somebody. This is something that's very, close to their heart. They want a voice on the other phone to, talk to and see if they want to tell us about their family, their needs, and exactly what they want. Thank you.
Okay. So Karen, I have a quick question. So basically on the concept of needs and what they want, how did you build out that set of needs? Like what was the process what process did you go through in terms of connecting with users and having conversations to build that kind of matrix of needs?
Well, we've got our partnerships with all of these organizations. And what started was they would send us all of their out-of-the-box requests. So every time we got a new call, it was something completely weird that we didn't know whether or not we could handle.
Like the ugly pillows, taking the ugly cushions back to the store.
Yes, and taking the TV for repair, even though the whole family said, you know what, throw out that TV. No, I don't want to throw it out. I want it repaired. So we have drivers who take seniors all the way out to Burnaby to get the TV repaired, take them all the way back, set back up the TV, and they are thrilled. They're the odd chores that nobody else can do. So we're not a cleaner. We are not window washers. We are not, do you know what I mean? We handle all the weird things that happen, but we're starting to see patterns. And so that's how we're kind of building out our services. Not everything is brand new anymore. And so we're now building these out, and we've got everybody trained to handle the common things.
Thank you. That's great.
Thanks.
Great presentation again. So I'm going to follow on from Mel's question around the need is obviously there. Like it's we're all thinking about our parents right now and thinking about how can I get the friends and family rate for this, and the part that I'm concerned about, or not concerned about, just want to ask about is the other end of the spectrum, the help side. How do you manage having, so when a senior needs help, if there's not enough people to help because of demand, that kind of impacts your service. And I have one more follow-up question after that, Michael, because you haven't
Okay.
really 2 questions, but how do you manage the help side?
Well, it's always like this. Sometimes we have too much demand and not enough helpers. Sometimes we have too many helpers and not enough demand. So we've had this, that's how we've been growing.
Right.
But it's never ever perfect. So sometimes we're getting to a point now where we've got enough drivers. We've got enough, home helpers. We've
Right.
got enough, and they're specific.
Right.
I want an older lady. I
Right.
want a man to do the heavy
Right.
lifting.
Right.
So we're building out that ecosystem within each municipality. So we know how to build that out in all of the different municipalities.
Right. So that is actually a known methodology you need to do for people that do like TaskRabbit or Uber. There's an actual way that you should be managing that, and that might be an expertise that you probably already have. The other side of it is, I know you're presenting yourself as a service organization, but again, on the preventative side, you guys are have the ability to see situations in real time about how seniors are living. And I know you're doing the training for the help. This is a real important check-in basically for these seniors on a regular basis. To that aspect, is there training involved around that? And if they do see a situation, are they able to act on it?
Yes, so we've got very, very specific training that goes into the risk management, safety procedures, and also for their own safety. That goes into the training program, and it's based on a lot of the training videos that the Provincial Health Authority provides, that WorkSafe BC provides, and also a lot of the training videos that the Healthcare Assistant Program has put together. But we do need to do, they forget, right? They can forget exactly what the procedure is. Usually with our platform, we actually have who their emergency contact is,
Okay.
what the exact steps are. When do you call 911? Who do you call first? Do you call the family emergency person first? So there is a process that is involved. If they see, for example, someone who's fallen down, or if they see someone, they come into the home and someone's unconscious. So there is a process.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks for that, Karen. So I guess with that, we're done and look forward to seeing you again. But best of luck and thanks for a great pitch.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Karen.
everyone. And thank you, Michael. Thank you even for allowing me to be here.
No, you earned it. Okay.
No, thank you.
All right. So with that, I'll just say in close that we saw some really great pitches, and at this point, the judges have the unenviable task of selecting some winners, and that's what we'll move on to now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see who the winners are fairly soon. Well, we just saw some amazing pitches from 6 incredible entrepreneurs. And I have to say that every year that AgeWell has held this competition has been more competitive than the last, and this year was really no different. Even getting to 6 finalists was extremely difficult for the reviewers, and the judges' task here was no easier. First of all, thank you all of the applicants from across Canada for sharing your innovations and passion. And of course, a very special thanks to the finalists, each of whom is on a clear path to success. We look forward to continuing our engagement with you and watching your progress. I'd like to take a moment to thank each of our judges, Angela Brooks from United Way Healthy Aging Team, Izzy Calder from Breskin and Parr, Mel Barsky of the Center for Aging and Brain Health Innovation, and Garth Smith from the Ontario Brain Institute. Thank you so much for your time and for helping us make this difficult decision. Secondly, I want to acknowledge our sponsors. Here that is Breskin and Parr, which provided sponsorship and an IP prize, and our key sponsors, the Ontario Brain Institute and the Center for Aging and Brain Health Innovation. Thanks so much for making this the biggest competition we've had to date. Also, a quick thanks to Matt from ETMS at UHN for making all of this so seamless for us. And now it's time to announce our winners. So this year we have 2 winners to announce. The first is our runner-up, which will receive a $10,000 cash prize, as well as in-kind support from AgeWell, and an IP services prize from our sponsor and partner, Breskin and Parr. We're really excited to announce this winner, and this prize goes to Imaginable Solutions. Congratulations, and we have Liana here to make a few remarks.
Thank you so much. I'm really at a loss for words. Thank you so much to AgeWell for creating such an impactful organization that's helping startups like myself. Thank you to my team, all my mentors and collaborators, and just thank you so much for believing in me and for believing in Imaginable Solutions. We won't let you down, and we're really going to make a big impact in the lives of older adults. So thank you.
Thanks, Liana. I think we're all convinced, especially after seeing your great pitch, and it'll be great to work with you on an ongoing basis. And with that, we can now announce the winner of the 2021 AgeWell National Impact Challenge, who will receive $25,000 cash prize as well as in-kind support. And the winner is High Ivy Health. And we have Rachel here. I'll hand over the virtual stage to her.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. This is amazing. I'm so excited and so ecstatic. Thank you. Thank you so much to AgeWell for recognizing pelvic health as an important piece of health for women all across Canada and beyond. I am over the moon. So thank you. I'm so excited to advance research and work in this space and continue on. And this prize helps immensely. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Rachel, and thank you, Liana, and thank you to all of the finalists again. These pitches were so great, and it was really difficult for this decision to be made. As I said, we all know you're going to succeed, and we look forward to supporting you in different ways. And I know I speak on behalf of the judges as well, who are all very interested in what you're doing and are looking to engage with you as well. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. We hope to see you at the engaging networking tables that are coming up in a few minutes, where you can engage with thought leaders, innovators, and delegates. Also, please tune in again tomorrow to our final day of Age Tech Innovation Week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there, as well as at next year's AgeWell National Impact Challenge. Thanks so much, and goodbye.